We have such an enormous land mass with such massive populations and high quality that if they had joined the free trade world right from the beginning after the war, Hong Kong and Singapore may never have been economic miracles. Places like Hong Kong and Singapore, on the periphery of this huge landmass, became places of excellence because we arbitraged on their inefficiencies. We became their contact points with the outside world.
You were an attractive alternative to their
That's
inefficiencies.
Right. Now they have decided they're going to do likewise.
So it's going to be a different ballgame for you in Hong Kong.
No. In 50 years, they're going to be 5 times Japan. Not with the same technology, they'll still be way behind, and maybe in 100 years they'll equal Japan's technology. But they'll be pretty high up. Then they, like the Japanese, will be investing in Singapore and through Singapore into the region. So the roles are reversed.
Why is that?
Because they will never be able to find a better place in the region than Singapore to launch their enterprises.
Yeah, but the projection of your own growth rate is 4 to 5% over the next several years.
No.
I mean, you're sort of, but you think you'll be sort of you'll ride on the Japanese, I mean, on the Chinese
yes, of course.
And the Indian economies.
These are 2 huge locomotives.
And you're there for the ride.
Not just Singapore. We are at the center of Southeast Asia, but the whole of Southeast Asia will be lifted up.
Should America fear this shift from west to east, this rise of China and India?
I think fear would be the wrong reaction. Here is an opportunity for you to take advantage of your long connections with the region and your high technology, your patents,
values,
values and your products.
Democracy?
No,
I know, I say what, yeah, sorry.
They would want to buy all the things you have,
right,
but they would not like you to order them how to lead their lives.
And they don't want to. They want to say that it may work for you, but that's not the model we may or may not choose.
Yeah, but I have a feeling that they are changing anyway. Whether we like it or not, they know they have to change.
Politically?
Yes. Because today, as against 1976 when I first went there, they are more urban than rural. When I went there, they were about 20% urban, 80% rural. Now they are about 25% to 30% urban and 70% rural. In another 20 years, they're going to be about 50% urban. And as you become urbanized, you're on the internet, you're on cable TV, you're well informed, you've got to govern them differently.
Yeah, exactly. Now, is Singapore, in your judgment, the model city of the future? Not Singapore, I'm sorry, Shanghai.
Shanghai, model city of the future. Shanghai as
modern, contemporary,
avant-garde in culture and
economics, lifestyle.
Maybe, but in political styles, no, because that's set in Beijing. Beijing cannot afford.
Okay, the power's in Beijing.
Yes.
But look in America, the power's in Washington, but also New York is the greatest city in the world.
You are differently constituted. You're differently constituted.
If you were 20 today, it's hard to make this work, but so you're a young man of 20 in Singapore, what would you do? Where would you go? Would you move to China and create businesses? Would you go into politics in Singapore?
Probably not, because there are so many opportunities to do well in life. And that's the problem for Singapore.
Choice.
The ample choice. What would I do? I'd want a good education. in English because that's a world language. I'd want to have enough Chinese, not just language, but an understanding of their politics and culture to interact with them, because I think they're going to be the biggest growth story of the 21st century.
So if, in fact, you're a smart young man at 20, your second language ought to be a command, at least, a conversational command of Mandarin.
Yes, absolutely.
In America, we say if you were wise, your second language ought to be Spanish, politically.
Yeah, politically, but I mean, how
but
does
saying
that...
on a global basis, Mandarin.
Yeah.
But English is first.
Yes.
Because the English is...
It's worldwide. It's worldwide. And it's that, for a long time, it'll be the key to new knowledge.
Did you tell Jacques Chirac that?
I don't have to tell him. He knows it.
All right, so you're 20. Yeah. You would look at something other than, I mean, would you move to China?
No, not just yet. I would have a base in Singapore. I'd build some company. I'd go to China. I'd go into the region. I'd come to Europe. I'd come to America.
You'd live in Singapore. Singapore would be your base. Oh, no, you'd start off in Singapore.
I would start off in Singapore. My base will be in Singapore. I'll bring my family up in Singapore.
Yes.
But I think they'll grow up with what I would call orthodox old world values to begin with, before they get beaten up by all these new lifestyles and so on.
Would you send your children, when they came of age, to, as your son went to Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard?
Yes, I would.
Because a quality education is the best thing that you can get. Now, we make the point here that you can get quality education in a lot of other places than those three universities, for sure. Yeah. And some would believe in different places better.
Yeah. I would say more than that. I think for the next 50, 100 years, the most dynamic economy in the world is America.
For the next 50 years?
50 or 100 years.
Yeah. So this century is still going to be the American century?
For economics, definitely.
Yeah. And military power?
Absolutely. Technological power.
Then what should, I'm changing this, what should we worry about? What ought to be, beyond terrorism and the fact that people wish us badly?
Yeah.
And want to destroy
some people wish us badly.
Some. I remember some. We'll come back to this anti-American in a second. But what should be the primary concern of American leaders looking to the future, beyond terrorism?
I would say to try and get the world not just to envy you, which they do, your wealth, your dynamism.
But that's admiration for our power.
Yes, no, more than that, your lifestyle, your abundance, your affluence,
our culture,
your ability to have a good life.
Yeah, but I mean, they also admire our movies and our dress and things like that.
I think more important to try and be less apprehensive.
Really?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, many parts of the world, many people say, look, they're overwhelming us.
They, the Americans?
Yes.
That used to be the rallying cry against globalization. Yeah. Globalization is another word for American hegemony.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's your pop culture.
Right, right.
So I think that's not difficult. Your fast foods, you know all about this Big Mac and how the obesity and all that.
Right, I do.
And your cigarette companies, all those things give you a bad name with thinking people, and
so importing bad food and
exporting problems for people.
Drugs, so to speak. Addiction.
Yeah, but I think what is important is that if you really want to sort of have the icing on the cake,
don't be apprehensive.
Don't be apprehensive of American power and preeminence. We are